Good morning, everybody. Here we are. We've got another opportunity to get our day kicked off with the best dose of anything in this world, and that is with God's Word. This morning, I want to look at a statement that Jesus makes, and I want to apply something to it that it seems that I don't know if so many, but a good number anyway, have got this idea in their mind. But I want to read this statement that Jesus says, and it's going to be in Mark the 7th chapter. Says in Mark 7 and in verse 20, and he said, what comes out of a man, that defiles a man. For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile a man. Over the past several years, we have seen this rise or this manifestation of racism in this country. Some may say, well, it's always been racist. The country hasn't been racist, but people are racist. Matter of fact, this nation ended slavery. So the nation as a whole is not racist. And we also hear in this uprising is that if someone is of a particular skin color, let's say white, well, they are inherently racist. They are born racist because of the color of their skin. That defines what their mindset will be. Let me just present to you, that's just a bunch of foolishness and hogwash. One's skin or national origin or ethnicity does not define what their thought process is and what their mind will be. How do I know that? Well, the things that Jesus just said in our text. Notice again, it says, for what comes out of a man, not what's on a man. Our skin is on us, not in us. Jesus said, what comes out of a man? Well, out of what? Well, it comes down to verse 22, for from within, out of the heart. That means the mindset of man. One's skin tone does not make one racist. One is not born racist. Racism is not contained within one's DNA, whether they're white or black or red or yellow or purple or brown, whatever they are. A skin tone does not define if someone is racist or not. They are not born racist. I would like to present for us to consider that racism is taught. Children carry on what they see and what they hear from the adults. So if you've got the adults labeling certain types of groups of people because of the color of their skin, well, that child is going to grow up just simply imitating what they have seen and heard as they grow up. But we need to understand that racism is out of the individual's own things that Jesus talked about here. For example, evil thoughts. Friends, that's connected to racism and many other things, but racism for what we're talking about this morning. Murders. People murder other people simply because of the color of their skin. They don't know them from Adam. They know nothing about them. I'll just give you an example. I'm white. I hate using colors because that doesn't define who someone is. But just for our illustration, that's the way people think. I'm white. Someone may look at me and say, you know what, you're racist because you're white. Well, they don't know anything about me. But my wife is of Mexican descent. 3 of my daughters are half black and half Mexican. So here we have just proof and point. If someone is racist simply because of their skin tone, then it would be absolutely beyond their ability, beyond their power to marry and love those that are of a different nationality or skin tone. You see, racism is taught by example and by word. If you want to stop racism, then stop talking and bad mouthing people of other skin tones and ethnicities and nationalities in front of your kids. That's how you're going to be able to stop racism and start loving our neighbor as ourselves, as Jesus said. We have this term out there, black churches and Spanish. I just absolutely despise those labels. Why can't we just be people? Why can't we just be churches, so to speak? You see, why does everything have to have a label based on the skin tone or ethnicity of folks? The Lord never used such things like that, we find in his teaching. But here we are, murders, wickedness, an evil eye, pride. Jesus said all of these things come within. These are heart problems. These are skin problems. These are heart problems, just like with any sin. Friends, I want to impress upon our minds, and I hope you'll think about what I'm really saying and what Jesus is saying here. We have all of this animosity and division. We have these race baiters out there. How about we just come back to what Jesus said? Why can't we just love one another as our neighbor? Why can't we just see each other as someone else that's created in the image of God, as Moses wrote in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2? You see, when we begin seeing people as God and not defining them as to what their skin tone is or where they are from, guess what will happen? All this nonsense of racism will go away. Very good text of what Jesus is teaching us here is that for the point that we're talking about this morning, racism is not based upon the skin tone. Racism comes out of one's own individual heart, and that is because of what they have been taught and how they have been raised. But I'm going to leave you with that. There's your dose of God's word for today. I hope it'll get your wheels turning and think about what Jesus is saying here. Mark chapter 7, 20 on down through 23. Hey, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you have a great day. Lord willing, we'll get back tomorrow and get another dose of God's word. We'll see you then.